in White House policy.
Expectations were higher. And the fact that they are not coming up with fresh ideas, fresh initiatives, something that will go beyond what we have already experienced one way or another.
Admittedly, this easing of restrictions is not a dramatic shift in White House policy towards Cuba. So you can understand why older generation Cuban Americans, like the ones gathered here in Little Havana in Florida, say they're somewhat skeptical. They say they've seen it all before. But when it comes to the younger generation, they're more optimistic. Felice Gorordo heads up a Cuban student movement called Roots of Hope. He says the communist government has just issued 75,000 self-employment licenses to offset massive state layoffs and encourage entrepreneurs.
It's significant because for the first time there is some sort of a movement and some sort of change going on the island. And it's important for us to reach out to our counterparts now more than ever before.
Gorordo wants to inspire young Cubans to think beyond the U.S. embargo and provide tools for Cuban workers to succeed. His latest project, collecting used cell phones, a luxury few can afford.
And this is significant for Cuba because up until 2008, cell phones were illegal.
But many of the older Cubans are tired of what they call political game playing with their beloved island nation. What they want isn't a reworking of an old U.S. policy, but instead an entirely new one for Cuba teetering on the fringes of change. Kimberly Helkett, Al Jazeera, Miami.
And some of the news here in the Americas. Adrian, back to you in Doha.
Many thanks, Rosalind. Now, Thailand and Cambodia will present their arguments over a border dispute at the United Nations next week. Both countries blame each other for damage to an ancient Hindu temple located at the center of recent military clashes. At least 11 people have died in the fighting, and thousands have fled their homes.
Last night, the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon rang me and he said, "These are armed clashes." I said, "No, this is war." So Cambodia is asking the UN Security Council to call an immediate meeting on that.
At least 4 Russian sailors have died and 7 are still missing after their cargo ship sank off the coast of South Korea. Coast Guards say the Cambodian-registered carrier collided with an as yet unidentified vessel. The ship was en route from Russia to Japan. South Korean rescue teams are continuing to search for the missing crew. Talks between the North and South Korean military have broken down. Neither side could agree on the agenda for future discussions. Tension's been high on the peninsula since the North shelled a South Korean island in November, killing 4 people. In Indonesia, security is tight ahead of the latest trial of the Muslim cleric Abu Bakar Ba'asyir. 1,200 police have been deployed near the courthouse in South Jakarta. Ba'asyir's supporters are expected to hold a rally outside. It's the cleric's 3rd trial on terrorism-related charges in a decade. In Sri Lanka, hundreds of opposition supporters have taken to the streets to protest against rising food prices. Organised by the United National Party, the demonstration also called for the release of the former Army General Sarath Fonseca. Manel Fernandez has the latest from Colombo.
Hundreds of people have turned up for this protest demonstration organised by the main opposition United National Party in Colombo. The opposition is protesting the leadership of current President Mahinda Rajapaksa, as well as urging for the release of former army commander Sarath Fonseca. As you can see behind me, a number of people dressed as prison inmates urging this release of the former army chief. Another reason that people have come out today is to protest against media suppression. What they say is murders and abductions in the north, the escalating price of living. As you can see, we've got goods which are displayed here, vegetables and commodities which have really shot up in price. Manel Fernandez, Al Jazeera, Colombo.
Just ahead on the News Hour from Al Jazeera, Louise will have all the sport, including La Liga's top goal scorers taking their rivalry to an international level. Stay with us for details of that clash and getting his feet wet. How one of the world's top golfers is aiming to slip slide back to victory in Dubai.
Business Latest is brought to you by Catalum, the most efficient and environmentally friendly aluminium smelter. Business Latest is brought to you by Catalum, the most efficient and environmentally friendly aluminium smelter.
It is in the details. A look. A connection. The moments that reveal the truth. Award-winning documentaries from critically acclaimed filmmakers. Witness documentaries to open your eyes. At this time on Al Jazeera.
Now, more sport than you can shake a stick at. Here's Louise.
Adrian, thank you very much. All eyes were on the clash of the Spanish footballing titans on Wednesday night as Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo locked horns for the first time at international level. And Real Madrid's Ronaldo and Messi at Barcelona are tied for the most league goals scored so far this season with 24 each. And they met each other for the first time as Argentina played Portugal in a friendly. Now, the home side went into the lead. It was Messi who did the main legwork there, but it was Angel Di Maria who was the scorer after 15 minutes. But then it didn't take long for one of them to find the net. Yes, it was Ronaldo with an equaliser for Portugal. The latest score is 1-1. The world and European champions Spain are currently in action against Colombia. It's currently goalless with just over a quarter of an hour to go. The Colombians failed to capitalise on that open goal. You won't forget that in a hurry. It's 0-0. In the 2018 World Cup hosts, Russia was stunned 1-0 by Iran. The Iranian side broke the deadlock through Mohammad Reza Kalbari, who scored in the final minute, but the ref got a bit shirty with his celebration and gave him a red card for taking off his top. Elsewhere on Wednesday, Serbia beat Israel 2-0. No goals between Turkey and Asian Cup semi-finalist Korea. Nigeria and the last World Cup host, South Africa, were winners in their respective games. Ukraine beat Sweden on penalties in their friendly tournament in Cyprus. England beat Denmark 2-1, while Poland beat Norway. And in the meetings of the former World Cup winners, it's 1-1 between Italy and Germany, with Miroslav Klose and Giuseppe Rossi getting on the score sheet there. And Karim Benzema was on target for the French as they seem to be putting their World Cup woes behind them to be leading Brazil 1-0. Ruud Gullit arrived in Chechnya to take over as the new coach of the Russian Premier League side, Terek Rozhny. The two-time World Footballer of the Year was greeted by hundreds of fans at the airport. Now, the outfit from the Caucasus region only returned to Grozny in 2008 after 2 wars forced them away for 15 years. Now they're hoping Gullit, who was captain of the Netherlands and coached the likes of AC Milan and Chelsea, will guide them to international success. Now, the former owners of Liverpool Football Club are attempting to claim $1.6 billion in damages after being forced to sell the Premier League club. Tom Hicks and George Gillette are pursuing the huge sum for what they called a giant swindle. Well, a High Court judge is set to decide on whether they can sue the Royal Bank of Scotland and 3 former directors who approved the sale in October against the Americans' will. The case in London comes as Liverpool's fortunes on the field have been revived. They're up to 6th in the table. Now to golf. and 21-year-old Rory McIlroy is looking for a repeat of his victory in Dubai in 2009. The Northern Irishman won his first European Tour title in Dubai 2 seasons ago. This time he's had a relaxed build-up to the tournament, as we've just seen there, and he's hoping to slide back into the swing of things.
You know, I can remember coming out here when I was 16 and playing in the tournament. I was lucky enough to get an invite, and things have really come on since there. So yeah, I sort of do treat this as a home event because I have played it more times than any other tournament on tour. You know, it's a very impressive field. The top 3 players in the world are here, and you know, if you can win this week, you know that your game's definitely on the right track, and you're in great shape going into the season.
Tiger Woods is set to play alongside the world's top 2 players, Lee Westwood and Martin Kaymer, in the first 2 rounds of that Dubai Desert Classic. The 14-time major winner's hoping to win a 3rd title in Dubai. Well, Woods spent the eve of the tournament taking part in the traditional Pro-Am, where he was partnered with a US serviceman based in Afghanistan who beat 16,000 golfers in a draw to play alongside the world number 3. Woods has gone 14 months without a victory and knows he must start winning consistently before he can think of returning to the top of the rankings.
If I'm in the event, it's to win. That's just plain and simple. I don't always win. I've certainly lost a lot more tournaments than I've won, but you know, it's the goal. Every week we tee it up, and that doesn't change.
The Sri Lankan bowling legend Mattaya Muralitharan says his side's happy to be labelled one of the underdogs for the upcoming Cricket World Cup. Murali is aiming to bow out from international cricket after the tournament, which starts later this month. The 38-year-old's the leading wicket-taker in both Test and One-Day cricket, and he's one of a number of veterans in the Sri Lankan squad. Well, Sri Lanka winners in 1996 are drawn in Group A alongside Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan, Zimbabwe, Canada and Kenya.
We like to be at, rather than the favourites, underdogs, then we try to do well in the play. I think we got a very good captain, and Maile is a past captain and is a very good knowledge in cricket. So we got a lot of experience and a lot of young players. So with the mix, definitely we have a good chance to go into this.